All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everyone, to the first of a new series that we're going to be making called Birding Basics. We're here at Mom's today, and she is going to tell us a little bit about how to attract birds to your yard. She has a lot of experience. Mom, do you want to tell us, everyone, why you have so much experience with birds?
Well, first of all, I have my land here, my home yard is a certified natural wildlife habitat. So we'll talk about that one day. So I used to work at a very popular bird feeding chain that's been around forever that happens to sell the best of everything. So I've kind of taken all that knowledge and I've tweaked it to
You worked there for a long time, right?
8 years, yeah.
Yeah, a long time.
Actually, I thought about opening my own store, but I have to be outside, so can't be inside. But so I learned a lot there. And living here, as you can see, the backyard is lots of woods, so we have quite an array of birds. So I want to show everybody and talk to everybody about how to maximize your potential at bird feeding while not having the weeds grow up under your feeder, which is always a huge thing, and squirrel proofing, in real life, squirrel proofing your bird feeders. So we'll talk about all that in this segment.
So we'll cut it there. Okay, to start with, we are going to be talking about what type of seed that you're going to need to buy to attract birds to your yard. It can be really overwhelming to go to the store and see all different types of bird seed. It can be expensive, but it doesn't have to be that way to start out, right? So we start out with what?
So wild birds that you want, songbirds, chickadees, tufted titmice, bluebirds, all those, they need a fat and protein to help their bodies get them through the winter. So in the least, the absolute minimum, if you're going to put up a bird feeder, I recommend, and most people on the bird feeding field recommend doing something like this, which is called black oil sunflower seed.
Okay, so we discussed your kind of first go-to seed, which is the black oil sunflower seed. There are other seeds that we're going to talk about today, right? What's the next thing we're going to talk about?
Well, before we go into what we need to look for, we're going to talk about what to not look for. So the songbirds that you hear are birds that eat in the trees. They eat the nuts in the trees. That's kind of the thing. So if you start putting in, and I'll again put a picture up of a seed blend that has a high density of millet, and worst of all, milo or grain sorghum. Those are for your ground feeding birds that normally eat on the ground, such as your blackbirds, your doves, because they will sit on the ground and pick, and they will pick grains up and whatever. And this is where the problem lies with people buying inexpensive seed blends. Don't buy an inexpensive seed blend that is full of that. You want to see the majority of your seed is black. If you see a lot of very tiny seeds that are white, and then the round seeds that are brown, those are just added to add weight to the bag so that you pay more for the actual food. And that's where you see your birds throwing feed out of the feeder, the seed out of the feeder, because they're looking for something that they will eat.
And that's what causes the weeds
too, right? That's exactly where your weeds come in, because your songbirds may pick at that. Cardinals will pick at that. Juncos, there's quite a few, but your hardcore, everyday backyard bird feeding birds want the oil seed. Okay, so this is my blend that I get from Walmart, and I'm gonna take a picture of the bag and put that up for everybody to see. And you will notice, if you look close at this blend, that yes, it does have a lot of black oil seed, but it also has these here are sunflower seeds out of the shell, which you can see there's a lot of them in there. The grayer.
That's like this one, right?
Yes. So you would buy those in a pack to snack on yourself. But this is how they come. And woodpecker again, titmice, wrens, chickadees, cardinals, they're all going to eat these peanuts. So you're not going to ever have waste with that. And lastly, we're going to talk about suet. So I have suet here. And I'm going to show This also has peanuts. People don't realize how much birds love peanuts. You're going to get woodpeckers, all different kinds of woodpeckers. I'm going to actually put a video up of my feeder a couple mornings ago, which is a normal thing for me to have. Woodpeckers, downy woodpeckers, red bellies, all kinds of woodpeckers, because they will go for these nuts in here. There's pumpkin seeds, and there is no waste in this mix. So if a bird comes along and they, for whatever reason, fling some out, which does not usually happen, but it may, the birds on the ground are going to eat it. Your cardinals are going to hit the ground. Your other birds, everybody's going to go on the ground and eat this. So this is my favorite blend, and I will actually mix this sometimes with the black oil together just to kind of make it go a little bit further, because this is what your birds are going to eat in the winter.
And winter is a good time to start feeding the birds,
Winter is an excellent time to start feeding birds, because they will really have to come. If they see your feeder out, they are able to see oil seed in a feeder. And every time I say oil seed, I am talking about sunflower oil. These white seeds here, you can see this. Yes, that is a safflower seed. You can cook and fry in safflower oil. You cook and fry in peanut oil. You cook or fry with sunflower oil. So again, these are what you want to put in your bird feeder. Then we also are going to talk about quickly, well, here's just straight peanuts. Now these also I get from Walmart, and they run me about $10.50 for 5 pounds. And that's, well, we'll show you later, but this is how they come. And woodpecker, again, titmice, wrens, chickadees, cardinals, they're all going to eat these peanuts. So you're not going to ever have waste with that. And lastly, we're going to talk about suet. So I have suet here, and I'm going to show you again. So these oil seeds are relatively expensive. So for the bigger bag seed companies to make their money, they're going to add lots of millet, milo, cracked corn. You will see there's no little round balls of millet or corn or milo in here. And this is actually what it looks like. So I took it. Now the top is just straight rendered beef kidney fat. And then underneath, if you flip it over, you will see lots of cut up peanuts of all different sizes. And that is what I use. Now there's apple flavored, orange flavor, all these
chili, spicy stuff.
Okay, the chili, if you see anything that has chili or it's spicy, that's because squirrels can taste. However, wild birds cannot. So they don't taste the capsaicin or whatever they're using into the mixes to stop the squirrels from getting to it. It's a good idea, but I unfortunately one time saw a very hungry squirrel eat a bunch of it, and oh, it was just torture to me to watch that. So I just tried to feed my squirrels anyway. But so this is what suet would look like. You can make suet. We're actually going to do a video where I make my own suet, where I'm going to crush up some peanuts and some raisins or whatever, and that's very exciting to watch them come to that as well. So, and also one more thing, this company right here, this is a little insider information that says CNS and CNS. They also are the ones that make the suet combinations for this company that is very successful with their suet and their bird seeds. So that's why I use it. A little insider information there. So
you're talking about the company that you used to work for?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying that this CNS company,
CNS is what makes all the suet items
from that big
chain.
The big chain company.
That's a very successful chain, and they really know what they're doing, but they're very expensive. And then one last thing I want to talk about is this is a thistle sock. We're going to go over this in depth in a little bit, but I just want to show you this is Niger seed, or it's also known as thistle. People call it thistle because it looks like thistle, but it's actually from a different country, and it's heat treated before it's brought in the United States so that we don't propagate it here. So because it has a very delicate short life, and when you use these socks, you need to kind of put them underneath a hood so they don't get wet, because once they get wet, if they get warm, it is a seed, it's going to break down, and then you're going to have a big hot mess. So there's that. Okay, so far we have addressed the problem of weeds growing under your feeder. We've way increased the chances of you getting your wild birds to come visit your feeder. The last thing I want to go over, well, no, one of the last things we're going to go over is my favorite feeders. However, we really need to talk about how to squirrel proof, because all these things that keep the little birds happy and healthy over winter are also what keeps the other critters healthy over winter. So I'm gonna do another video shortly of a system that I bought at 8 of them that said chain that was very good at keeping the squirrels off your feeder. It actually has a baffle that goes up the pole. You screw the pole in the ground and the baffle comes up. The squirrels can't crawl over the baffle, they end up crawling through. We're going to show you some pictures, and you can also get similar items like that on Amazon, which I also do all the time. So your feeders, we'll do another more in-depth video on feeders, but quickly, when you do a bird feeder, if you want your cardinals to eat, cardinals do not like to sit on a peg. And again, I will shoot up a picture of a tube feeder that has pegs on it. You will be very hard pressed to find a cardinal trying to turn on a peg to eat out of the hole. So my absolute favorite feeder is this type here. Now, this is what we call a fly-through feeder. It doesn't hold a lot, but it's so accessible to everybody, and you can really clearly see, and it's actually made from this composite material, so it's going to last probably forever. It's not wood. So it also provides drainage on the bottom, because you don't want your seed to ever sit and get wet, because that's the problem. But when I put this up, I'm going to take a video, and you'll see hairy, downy, red bellies. You'll see all kinds of woodpeckers come into this feeder, because I'm going to put this big chunky stuff in there, and it's going to be so much fun to watch. But keep in mind, I already have all of my feeders baffled, and I've fed that way for so long in this yard that my squirrels actually don't even try to get up the pole anymore.
Especially because you feed the squirrels anyway.
And I do feed the squirrels. I'm not crazy with it, but I do throw out like 2 handfuls of those peanuts every day. So, and we have a few that they're so sweet, they just come right up to the door, knock on the door and hold their hand out for their breakfast. But so we have this feeder, which is great. What else were you
I think that's it. I think we're trying to keep this one kind of short. Right. So in conclusion, if you are somebody that has always kind of wanted to start feeding the birds, but a little apprehensive because of the cost, because it seems like it's a lot going on, start basic. I mean, all you need...
A very inexpensive-ish feeder.
Yep.
With straight black oil seed on a pole. There are collar feeders that you can buy on Amazon, which I'm going to also put up there. That's not, they baffle, it's a collar, but it's still very difficult for the birds to get over it. Yeah. I mean the squirrels, not the birds. We want the birds.
We want the birds. But yeah, so that's we're gonna wrap up this video with that. In the coming videos in this series, we'll be talking about hummingbirds and how to attract them and what to do for them. Bird houses. We can do a special on just woodpeckers, because there's a huge variety of woodpeckers. If there's anything specific that you would be interested in seeing, go ahead and leave us a comment in the below. But yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. If you like this type of content, give us a like, and that's it for now. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.